This is everything that was there. Of course, not the paraphernalia here, not the cookies and the bananas that you see there. Yeah. Come inside. Unfortunately, there's no light. Yeah, there is.
Oh.
See all the stone material and everything that is there.
The stone was up there
everything,
also?
all, yeah. Whatever you see, all this wood material, these windows, this mesh that you see, you know, all this was there at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is. Except the curtains.
Well, this is a real treasure to live in, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah. It's known as the Manonash cabin, annihilation of the mind. So those who live here, you see, it seems
their
that
mind
the minds, in the process, you know, when the mind gets, you have to go to the mental hospital. And you people are here, you know, as counselors and all that sort of thing for the persons who live here. Yeah, it is like that. So this is the Manonash cabin. These shelves now you find adorned with all the cookies and the boxes and all that, and medicines too, of course. So they were used, these shelves were used at that time to place those little toys that he played with. Have you seen that in the office there? There are the models of temples, churches, the Parsi, Zoroastrian fire urn, or pagoda, or the Buddhist, masjid means the mosque, or the Muslims and all, a church, Christian church, all this was here. These shelves were there for that. So he would sit here, right here, and there were no bed or anything of the sort. So he would just be here. I don't know what he used to do. He used to shut the door, and I used to sit outside, and when he called, then I would come in. So he worked here and ended his Manonash phase in New Life.
Began it in Lucknow?
Began it in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
And there's a cave called Kujaguda Cave. It's still there. It's in the New Life. There were different phases in New Life. It all started with gypsy life and wandering and begging and all that sort of thing. And there was one of the phases was Manonash, and then he completed this phase, and then he went to the West in 52. There he started. It's called the complicated free life. He met with the accident and all that sort of thing. And then after that, he had said all this prior to starting the New Life, you see. And then there was a fiery free life where he went all over the country, all over the world, you see, and set fire in the hearts of people. And we were astonished and amazed how they accepted him. And he told them with great authority and all that, and nobody raised any voice or anything. He, of course, exhorted them like anything. In the very strongholds of orthodoxy, that he has come here to do with all rites, rituals and ceremonies. I used to tremble while speaking out, you see. So he would say that he would do that, you see, while I'm standing there. He says, don't be afraid, continue here. It's like that. So such things were there, and there were a sea of humanity there. If little section would come, will take it ill or something like that, well, they would just pulverize us into powder. See, it was like that. And then the life. So these were the different phases. So that's how it was. After he finished the work here, he says, you stay here. So I continue to stay. This is the
But there was no bed here?
No bed. He used to sleep on the floor.
He did?
Yeah. But this is not the sleeping place. You see, he would always divide his office and
his workspace and his sleep
office.
space.
Yeah, this is his office. That is workspace. And you see these nails
Yes.
put at random. So we had what do you call the tarpaulin. And he would be behind the tarpaulin. There he would sleep. This was his rest room, sleep room. And here was where he worked. It's very hot in the summertime, mind you. It's very cold, ice box in winter, an oven in summer. Okay? Where you know, I'm sorry, I didn't take you on. This is known as the Manonash room. You were here listening?
No, I didn't catch
Oh, I
any
see.
of it.
Okay. Later on. Fusion here this morning. Have you heard of that? Have you seen the picture? Sheila, you're Sheila, no? Oh, I see. So these are the two cabins on the top of the hill. So these two cabins were brought down and made into one. So this is the material that was used. So I'll show you.
Eric? Charlotte's convinced now that going up the hill means just in story only. Actually, we don't move from here.
All right, we'll move. We'll make a move.
Everybody always uses me as an excuse.
I'm just trying to let you all know as to where you all are going. You are going nowhere, mind you, and yet you are going to someplace. Nothing to see there. No zoo is there, no palace is there, not even a hut there. So why are we going? Are we crazy people?
It's like going to the new pyramid.
Yeah, there's nothing there, not even new. You'll see it. Why we are going is following in his footsteps, following his steps. Wherever you have come. Oh God, when did you come?
Yesterday.
You are still following his footsteps?
Yes, of course.
How many years? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, so we are going there. Why are we going? Because he walked up there, he was there, he was doing his universal work. What is it? What is that universal work? We don't know. But he said that he was busy. So this is all right, we'll go. It's a place of pilgrimage for us now, which he had said long back. In 1955, he read it out, no? There were 4 groups. That was the last time. Even after the accident, he went up the hill, carrying all the 4 groups up there. Not on his piggyback or anything, but carrying on his footsteps. So they followed his footsteps and they were going up. With each group, when he went up there, he said, how blessed you all are. You have no idea. 70 years from now, people from all parts of the world will come over here. And they'll come here to pay homage. And what will they find? Nothing but rock. Because at that time the cabins were not there. They were brought down in 51. What will they find? Nothing but rocks. But yet they'll come here. For what? Just to pay homage. So in memory of that, and it will become a place of world pilgrimage. So in memory of it, pick up a rock and keep it with you. Same thing, for all the 4 groups he said the same thing. Then he led us up the hill there at Meherabad. At that time it was no tomb. There was no tomb because he was alive, physically. So he said, I am leading you up this hill. How blessed you are that I am here in body, in flesh and blood. And you see me and I am taking you up. To where? To the place where my body will rest. But this place after 70 years, will become place of world pilgrimage. People from all parts of the world will come to place of honor, respect and all that. So in memory of that, bow down at the threshold. Put your forehead at the threshold of this place where my body is going to rest. So that's what we did. The threshold, you know that big threshold there, we enter the tomb. He didn't tell us to get inside it. But he said, place your head on the threshold in memory of the ones who are going to come. So,
Here we are.
here you are. We are in memory of continuing memories, you see. That's how we are taking, we are going. Why are we going, we don't know. But we are just following. Where we will be led to, we don't know. I think eventually to him. It's a very serious matter, mind you. After now, how many years are left now? 55, and how many years have passed by?
65.
In 85 it will be 30.
Yes, 30 years.
And then 40 more years, 70 years from now. What I'm saying is that, well, we may not be here, but you all have heard these. And you may be here, you might come, who knows? So remember, when they come here, you'll recall these words of his. This is not 70 years have not passed. 70 years from now, he said, he's 55. This is just a what you call exploration trip today. This way. This is the high road, you see, highway, you know, towards the hill. And it not only goes towards the hill, which Baba used to take, but it takes us to Ahmednagar for the villagers. Yeah. Bullock carts and everything used to go, but now it has been blocked there. And so many times he has walked through this gully. Yeah. So many times. This bunding was not here. The route would be the same route, going up to the tree, and from there we used to go. That was Baba's route. But we have taken little diversion here because the government tried to put up a earthen dam, you know, to feed our well that you see that. Amara Maharaj,
He wants us to walk around.
that are there. It is said to be so. This whole Deccan Plateau was a volcano, and it was under the sea, you see.
You know, I found a seashell here last week.
Somebody to... Yeah, I think when we went up there, you showed me. Somebody showed me somebody was...
No, this was just very recently. I never showed you. But it's a seashell.
We had been there about 10 to 15 days ago. Somebody sitting there says, "Oh, look at this seashell." I said, "Yeah, this is not the first time. We have been noticing this time and again." This trek that you see was made by Dr. William Donkin, you know. On the quiet, Baba would climb the hill this way, anyway, wherever he felt like going, you see. But this trek, one day Dr. Donkin said, "It's best, Baba, you use this now." So he started using it, just to please him. And it has become a regular route for us. Back after the accident.
Oh, he came up here 4 times?
4 times, that's what I'm saying. The accident took place in 1954, 52. And thus he brought people in 1955, just before the second accident.
How many times have you been up here, Eric, since Baba dropped his body?
Could you count the times?
I didn't count. I didn't come up the hill to count the number of trips, but I just came following. When you follow something, you don't count, because it's just, just that.
Did Baba ever come up the hill after the second accident?
No. First accident in 55, that's what I say. The last 4 times he came up. I will bring us up to this. At the time when he came with 4 groups in 1955, so naturally there was a big crowd. So he'll wait here, allowing all of them to collect together, and also at the same time just have little time to breathe properly, easily, and all that, get their breaths back or something like that. And then he'll admire the scene and all that, ask them to do so, take interest in it. And then all of a sudden he'll say, "See how it is? When we leave Meherazad, it's like your world, you see." And an aspirant who aspires to attain the truth wants to reach the height, the pinnacle of truth. Well, in the beginning there is a lot of shelving, you see, the opportunities and this and that. He's indecisive about it. Has to take lot of years to decide as to when to leave, whether to leave, not to leave. Yes, we should leave and all that. Just as we started, whether we should go up the hill today, tomorrow, yesterday. No, but Charlotte was the one, you see, said, "Look, on Saturday we are definitely going." So she became the cause of it. Well, good, it's good exercise and all that. And then what happens, Baba says, that once we decide to start on the journey to reach the height, the highest goal, that is to attain the pinnacle of truth, as you call it, or to attain realization of this. So we set out on a journey, but that journey is not journeying as we journey now. It's not journeying, and yet it is more realistic than the journeys that we take and on this gross sphere. It's much more realistic, he says. It is journeying, real journey. And you come across many sites and many continents and many worlds and many things in space and all that. The whole macrocosm, somehow or other, you are traversing, you see. And in the process, many faults are there, many things happen. Like you're getting out from there and you hurt your toe there. Or you get pricked by some thorn, you see. And you say, ouch and wow, and all that sort of thing is there. So when you set out, it's a great thing, you see, that you feel yourself so liberated with your determination. So when you set out from the world, the feeling of elation is so great. Baba described it as like hop, skip and jump like a child, you see, it sets out to play. But when he starts going on the journey, when the journey is in progress, with every breath, you see, he has to think twice, and then so many times he feels so desperate about it. So many disappointments take place, so many things happen. So many times he thinks of why has he set out on the journey? Can he not go back? But there's no chance to go back now. He has set out and has come far away. So he can neither go to the destination nor can return, just like that. So that encourages him to proceed further. But then there comes a stage, in spite of all the hardships and all like this, he points out this way, this turning that is there. And this stage, you see, he is totally frustrated. He is absolutely despondent in his journeying and all that. He says, what is this? All the time while coming, all the distance, we had in mind the height of it. We kept in mind. But here, while at this stage, what happens is, now we are seeing the world again. As if our progress will be again back towards the world from where we set out. So this is total frustration on the stage. And that's the last frustration that we encounter. But Baba says, don't give up. On the contrary, such a stage in your journeying is really helpful, that will help you to reach the height. But don't give up. So let us see what happens. So that's how he'll say, and then he'll go ahead. And we have to follow him up. Like a goat you'd climb. And he had long strides, you see. Like and he hold his foot, you know. Gone are those days. Now we feel delighted.
Are there 5 turns on the hill?
I don't know. Have you counted them?
No.
I don't know. You should ask Dr. William Donkin. Can you all see? I can't see it. It's too celestial for me. No, really, I can't see it. All right.
It's there. You can.
Huh? It is there, yeah. But you can't see it. He is there, but we can't see him. But he can see. Ed can see. He is a priest. Came from Bombay and came to Ahmednagar for the first time. He also took his followers and was there for some days. Because there's a place there, free of charge, you can stay, a shelter, an inn it is. A sort of an inn is there, you see, built by the Mughals of rocks and all that. So he stayed there. But subsequently he took his Western and Eastern disciples and he used to stay there and all. But that's a big bungalow-like thing. He stayed there. You had to pay fees. And there were people who could afford to pay the fees around him. So that's how we went there. Yeah. In the beginning, there was nobody who had any money. Yeah.
It was pretty there at Happy Valley.
Yeah, that range of hills. So we used to go with Baba to that hill, to this hill. Then there's another hill there. See that? Khandoba Hill. There's a temple of Khandoba over there. It's a dilapidated temple. And here it is customary for the villagers to, well, gather together and collect the funds, energy, hands and hearts and money collected, and they select a spot which is on a raised level so that they can easily have him up there to keep a watch over them. If his place is below their habitation, how is it possible for him to keep watch? You know, you have a watchtower. You know that. It's on a high level. So likewise, it's a watchtower for the Lord. So whenever there is epidemic, famines, and disasters, the villagers gather up there and exhort him and pray to him, sing and dance and keep vigil for the night or 2 nights, and they feel contented and happy. They exhort him to help them out of the situation, and they think that they have done their business. Now leave it to him to do his business. And they come down contented and all that. In their hardships, of course. And other times it remains forsaken. They allow him to keep a good watch over them. That's how it is. So the aspect of the deity that is installed there is called Khandoba. It's called the watchfulness of the Lord. That aspect. It's a dog. It's represented by dog. You see? So it's the dog that keeps a watch, you know, and guards. Watchdog. Yeah, that's how it is.
Tembi, what is the word Tembi?
Tembi means hills in Marathi. So this is known as Dhakti Tembi, means smaller hill, and that is Moti Tembi. Tembi. It's in the record of rights we have got this hill recorded as Dhakti Tembi. That's how it is. And here you'll find this is the stuff that is there, one of the outposts, and here you find this is the place where his cabin was. And there was a tree over here, near this green stuff that you will find here somewhere. It has been cut down past 2 years. It used to give nice shelter, a little shade. And we who were brought by him here, well, we had to pitch our tents around here. Here, all this place is here.
Eruch, was there a cement slab under the cabin?
Yeah, no, it's not cement slab. There was a plinth, we call it, and on that plinth, the flagstones were.
Because these are all cement.
So this is cement pieces from the same cabin.
See, here's one.
Cook our food there, heat the water and all that.
How many?
And you might, pardon?
Sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to ask. How many days at a time would you spend?
So you see, it depended upon his pleasure. He would come here for overnight stay, or just come and go back in the evening. Or he might stay here for 2-3 days, or a week, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The longest period he had stayed here was for 40 days. Yeah. And the last that he stayed here was in 1951, December. And then he said, get the 2 cabins down the hill and make into one. He came right across. We were in New Life, traveling on foot, you know. We were wandering. So we were traveling, that is the road that we had taken. We were coming right from that end, you see, about 500 miles from here, called Hyderabad. So we were walking and we thought we'd pass by this town of ours. And while he was on that road there, that position there, he looked up and says, oh, the cabins are still here. And we said, yeah, they must be taking care of it. And I said, naturally, the cabins are there, yeah. He says, come on, let's go and have rest for the night. So he cut across the field and we followed him. And from the backside, we climbed up the hill. And that's how we made our stay here. And we thought that, well, then he said, next day we'll see, next day, and 3-4 days. And then he continued with his work here. And then after some days, he says, bring the 2 cabins down, see that they are brought down, made into one. That's how we took the cabin. That's all. And that's the end of our stay here. Except subsequent 4 visits that Baba brought us up here to tell us.
The musts, he worked with the must in the lower
this cabin here. This is the stage where he used his office. It was his place where he worked here. As he said, he would do universal work and all that. There was a cabin right on the top there, which he used for his rest. I showed you the picture where there's the railing and all that. You saw that picture with the railing? No.
I don't remember exactly.
From here, you can't even talk quietly or anything of that sort. The force of the wind is so great, you see, you have to shout out.
I found some tacks stuck in wood up at the top.
Yeah.
Was there any kind of canvas or something to prevent wind from coming underneath?
No, where? Canvas where? Canvas was here. There was no canvas up there. There was another cabin up there. There was no canvas. But tacks are usually used, you see.
I have
By carpenters and
2 or
all
3
that.
tacks.
Yeah. You may have noticed that he has sat on this stone, and there's a group of people around. There is a group picture, photo of Baba sitting there. So this is a seat. This is also a seat where here Dorothy is. That is a seat. All these are his seats.
Isn't there another seat around here?
Yeah, there is a seat there.
Very big seat.
That's for the view on the east. How will Charlotte come up to?
No, she'll make it.
One has to be very particular about foundation.
It seems like it faced north, south, east, west. Is that true or not?
Yeah, faced here, north. The door opened here, the window was here, and there was nothing at the back. Here is this is the stub of the back. Oh,
That's where I found the tacks.
yeah. Must have been. But it was wider than this. Erosion has taken place. You had come here last time. He does something which is very peculiar. He's not normal, you know. He has to be abnormal to be in tune with the abnormality of his creation. You follow? And eventually we reach. And it's a pilgrimage, but it's a journey. People come across the oceans and continents and across planets, and eventually they reach the height. And then do what? What happens to them then?
I don't know.
They contemplate.
They help others?
Yeah, when they have come, you see, they know the hazards and all that, and they escort others to come up that. And they carry in their hearts the contentment that, well, they did go to the height. Yeah. The experience is there. That counts for others, to be of help to others.
Where was the hut that was up here?
Oh, she doesn't want all that rigmarole. Very subtle. I know. See, this is one of the last end pegs, you see, that is there. That was there. It was in concrete and all that. It was a wider flat place here and had a railing. You saw that railing that in the picture I showed you? I pointed out that there's a railing. So the railing was here, right across. It was a very wide piece of ground here. It had a cabin up there. Half the size that you see there, that is built there. 2 cabins, one from down and one up here, brought down and made into one. So this is the cabin where he rested for the nights. He would be resting.
This was the smaller of the...
No, it's equal size. Yeah. He would be here. And then in the late afternoons when he's free from his work, he would come up here and we'll sit down around him. And this is the stone that he would make use of it to sit down. This one. So let us sit for a while. Even if we are boiling in the sun, it doesn't matter. Be careful.
This is shady, you should see.
If you want to sit down for a while.
I just was, thank you.
Pardon?
I just was sitting.
That's how he would be in the evening with us, and we will be sitting around him and chatting and talking about what? You might wonder, what did we talk about? What was it everything except anything to do with spirituality of God. How was the food? Why was the salt less? And what had happened to the tea? And how did you happen? Did you have a fight with those cow herds over there to keep the cattle up, coming up? And why was that row that was there? Who was speaking loudly? All that sort of thing. And then sometimes he would ask us to admire at all this vast stretch of land. And in spite of such vastness, where his human beings, Jai Baba, where his human beings are housed, yet there is that quarrel between the two farmers, this belongs to me and no, that belongs to me, and so forth. So all this would be there. But in our casual conversations with him, we found that each sentence was a discourse in itself. If we paid heed to what he is saying, otherwise there is no meaning in it. It was just a little, something rambling, But in each little thing that he would remark or say or anything, so there was a discourse in it. That hill you see, you pass by when you come here to Mehrazad from Ahmednagar. You see that? So there is a shrine of a Mohammedan Wali. Wali means the friend of God. And he is known as Mira Wali. His name is Mira Wali. People go there to get the spirits out of them, their system, you see. Those people who are possessed and all that. So once every Thursday, there is regular traffic up the hill there. And they go up there to get themselves free of the possession. You're possessed. And once in a while, after many reincarnations, we think of getting ourselves relieved of the spirit that possesses us. Just like that. And for them, we have no recourse. We can't go to the friend of God, but we have to approach him directly to get the spirit out of our system. Baba has once said to us, I don't know whether you all have gathered or has it been mentioned, that we have no right to say that I have a soul. Those who are not realized have no right to speak in terms of soul. Each one has a spirit. Only the one who has realizes the soul, the self. The rest of them are nothing but imbued with spirits. That's what he said. And you find this spot is so barren, but it was once covered with quite a few trees, you see. Number of trees were there. And that's how we used to get our fuel from the dried twigs and all that, branches. We would go out and get them. And there is the well over there that we used to use to fetch water from. Carry water on our shoulders, with the bamboo across like that, and 2 tins. Used to come up and get water. And the spot was more fertile than that you see now. It's getting barren as years pass by. And the cattle are fewer. Formerly, on either side, every side, you'll have noticed sheep, you see, and buffaloes and the cows. But now, very rarely you see a cluster of them. So, the purpose of having 4 or 3 persons with him when he would come up the seclusion was this, that each one would be sent down the hill. Nobody remained up the hill when he's working over there. So we had to do one thing, to plead to these shepherds and be in the good books and cajole and even embrace them or just pet their beards or chins or anything and keep them away from there. Not through coercion or anything, but humor them. And they would say, these boys are shouting and crying. At the time, we had to be very particular. Pin drop silence. He expected us to. See that? How the voice gets carried.
The erosion is happening so fast up here.
Yeah, erosion is this is not a cave or anything specially dug out. It happened at the time when there was a great earthquake in 1968. So boulders just rolled down and cavity was created, and people think that that is the cave where Baba sat here. I said, no, there's no cave here. There's no such thing. On the contrary, we had to now, the mason work is the masonry work, and fortify it and just keep it intact. That's all. Yeah.
Bobby, is this a natural little seat?
Here there is a seat over there. At the time when the sun was too hot in the west, there's a place here below it. Yeah, he would go and sit there. There's a little couch-like thing. We call it his throne, and you'll feel very happy and away from wind. The thing is now, see how it is. Those who have visited previously, they had felt the wind. But now, whenever I come here, there's no sign of it. It's very oppressive. But there was all the time, constantly, the wind was blowing all the time.
Was the temperature any different being up here?
No, it was scorching hot. There's no doubt about it. But because of the wind, we wouldn't feel it. But if we remained stationary, then we would feel. Yeah, movement, we wouldn't feel. That's how it is. Okay, now we'll get up and go. Is there anything that you all want to ask? Please ask. Or should we go to the hall and then ask? It's too hot. What do you think? Helen? I agree. You agree? See how the whole thing is. Now look at this. Now that you are standing up here. See, can you see a little mound over there? There. Can't you see in the distance?
Yes.
There is a little thing like that, no?
Yeah,
what is it? A hill?
Yeah.
Is there anything on the top of it?
Looks like a
There's a
dish.
white temple. There's a white temple there. So before coming to this place, in the night where we had stationed ourselves was 4 miles away from there. We were there in the night. And you all may have read in the book the episode about the doves and Baba taking upon himself the punishment for being cruel. And he told us to beat him with shoes and spit upon him. So it happened near about that place. There's a mosque over there, a very dilapidated, dungeon-looking thing that is there, 4 miles away from there, and that it took place there in the night. So we, from there, that morning, after all that, we started walking, and we started coming this way. That's next morning after that. The morning that he took the beating. And he then came here. That's the place there. That is on your way to Ellora Caves. It goes to Aurangabad, this road. Okay.
Shall we go down?
So shall we go down? Yes, we have to go down. There's no way out. Because there's nothing to go up. Further up. This is the limit.
It's also very, very hot for winter time.
Yeah.
What happened? Did someone turn up the sun?
Oh, I think so.
I can imagine. No, not really.
Good. Come on.
Okay.
I'll
One,
wait till,
two,
I'll
three.
let everybody go first.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, let's go. Let us not be in the way. You won't even imagine that there was a nice platform over here. We used to sit comfortably and have a nice chat in the afternoon. When the sun was blazing there, you see, in the west. And this would be a shadowy spot away from the wind and breeze and all that. That's how it was. In my life with him, I think hardly 4 or 5 times. Hardly, I should say 4 times to be on safe side. Not every time. But I've seen him this, bending down and just doing this. And then he'll go this. I don't know why.
Bob would do that.
Yeah.
Recording something.
Oh, I don't know. You people, you know. Good. Please come to my rescue.
What's happened?
Yeah, what?
The recording is concerned, you should come to my rescue.
Sometimes the descent is slower, huh?
His attributes, you see, that he is the one who gives speech to the mute. He is the one who makes the lame, means legless one to climb the peak of the Himalayas.